So this part can actually be put to the side because we've completed that one. And the next part of the build you can see is the steering. So we need to find the steering bag and get onto this part. So I just found the steering bag. Let me open it. And it is inside here, so that's that bit. And you're also going to need this bit as well. And usually we will also need the screws bag that was within the bag as well. So the first parts we need here, because you can see we've got this part here, so first thing to do is simply to slide this way. Be sure to look at the drawings, and I can see that it's going to go up this way. Okay, this part goes in here, and now what we need is one of these, okay, which is going to be in the screw bag. So let's take out the screw bag, and it is one of them. So actually you might find it easier to put the screws, empty them into a container. We need one of those on here, okay, and this one will stop the actual thing from coming through. Okay, so once that part is installed, we've now got the E-clip on. It says that we need another one of these little things going on to this side, so we will simply slide it on to there, okay, and now this part is done. This part can go to the side, and now we need to go on to the next part of the servo saver, and I can already see that we're going to need this part here because it matches the one in the drawing. First thing to do is take the green cap off the servo saver, and then take this one, slide it through here, and line it up with there. It should go in, but it won't at the moment. And now get your other part of the servo saver, which goes this way, you can see. So you can see at the moment we've got the green part here that actually threads through, and the servo saver goes this way. Okay, so once we've done that, it's telling us to take the spring, which was also in the same bag. So all these things are actually in the same bag, so you don't need to worry about finding everything. Now it says take the green cap that we took off earlier, and simply screw this one on. It can often be a bit of a pain because you have to kind of fight against the pressure of the spring. Okay, so once you've got it to bite, you just got to screw up the servo saver. Don't do it too tight. That's not the idea. I'd say that's enough. And then now it wants us to put one of these on the bottom here, and one of them on the top. So 2 more of these we need out of our screw bag. And the reason I'm not giving close-ups of what I'm doing is because the idea of this build tutorial series is actually you build along, so you'll be able to see where I'm pointing, and you'll be able to like look at your own user manual to see what I'm actually doing. So once again, one just needs to go on the top here, and one actually needs to go on the bottom there. Okay, so that's all, and then you can just check it, because on the picture here you can just take a look and then compare it with yours. One thing we didn't do is install the ball joint mount onto here, so I'm just going to do that, and one of them is actually given in here, and you can just check you've got the right one, because these are actual size drawings, and you can see that is the right size. So once again, it's 2mm, and you just need to put one of them onto here. The threads are already done actually in some places, which is awesome, makes life much easier, and that's sorted. Last thing to check is that you've got a 4mm gap between the top of this part and the top of the entire thing. If we take a look here, it says you need to have 4mm gap, so you change the gap depending on how much you've screwed down the servo saver. So it's a nice check, just to check that you haven't over tightened the servo saver. Okay, so those two parts are sorted, and now what we need to do is go on to this part, and you can see we need to put our two servo saver parts onto here. So first one is this one, and second one is this one. Okay, so let's get going with this part, and you can see what we need to do is take our plate here. This part needs to go onto here, but first we need to install what they call a block carrier in the manual. So this part needs to go onto there. This part onto here. Make sure you've got things round the right way. Okay, onto there, and this screw onto here, but first we actually need to put a washer in. So take a washer out, and they'll all be in the same bag that we started with at this stage. So you're still looking for these things in the same bag. So put the washer on the screw, and through here. Okay, and this part just needs to screw into here, and up until now everything has been the plastic threads, so there's no point using any thread lock with any of this up until now. Screw it nice and tight, like so. Okay, it will be wobbly, that's the plan. And now you need to do the same with this part, so you can just check that we've done everything properly, which we have. And same thing, one of these into here, the block carrier. Alright, and now we need another washer. If I can get it out. Once again, screw on the washer. And into here. Okay, and finally just do the same again. Screw this one into the other servo saver. So once it's done, you should have something that looks a little bit like this, and as you can see from the manual, everything's done properly. Last thing we need to install is these two more ball joint studs here, and one goes into here and one goes into here. So once again, from the same bag, remove them, one there and two there, and now we just need to install these ones. So one goes into here. Make sure you put in these things in the right holes, because it's much easier actually to install things now than have to remove things again and change them at a later time in the build. So it's always good to do things properly this time. And before you move on to the next thing, take a look at the drawings, and then take a look at what you've done, and then check and compare that things are actually matching and you haven't made any mistakes or used the wrong parts. Okay, so that is this part of the build complete now. And once again, we can check. I think everything is sorted there. So that is the steering servo saver part finished. And once again, we can put this part to the side.